I just wanted to welcome you today to the Deployment Information Brief. We're going to cover a large variety of things, issues for deployment. As a form of introduction, my name is Colonel Brian Menace. I'm the commander of the brigade. With me today is Sergeant Major Foro, his wife Vicki, my wife Kelly, is right here. Up front with us as well is our Family Readiness Group Support Advisor, Cheryl Blankenship. She's representing the other FRSAs here. We have, of course, our rear detachment chain of command. That's John Sherwood, Major John Sherwood, and Master Sergeant D'Amato right there. Additionally, we have Kelly O'Lear. And lastly, just as a formal introduction, we'll visit with some folks and get up and speak to us later, is Ms. Carol Stockton. And she's our military family life consultant and a really great resource for us, for you guys. So most of the folks I'm introducing you to, ladies, or to the guys will be here as our part of our rear detachment. The good news is we think the Army is going to live up to their vow to keep the deployments at 9 months. Okay, that's a good deal for all of us. Even better for us, our bosses, General Huggins is telling me we're going to be back before the end of September. Okay, now I'm not holding my breath on that, because if you do the math, that's under 8 months. Okay, so we're looking at potentially 7.5, 8 calendar months as the planning figure right now. You know, if you had to bet and you're making plans for your family, I likely wouldn't make it before Thanksgiving right now. Okay, once we get a tighter redeployment schedule, then of course we'll communicate that to you. But right now we're planning to be home end of September. And then just for you guys, when we traditionally get home, we start getting our stuff together. We'll take a short leave in the October time frame, and then a bigger leave at Christmas. So that's sort of just the road ahead for the next year, okay? Good news about the shorter tour is, you know, you miss a smaller chapter of your family's life, right? The bad news, what the Army's done is, again, the cost savings and everything else, is there's no mid-tour leave. Okay, so most of us, that's okay, unless you've got, you know, your brother's graduating from high school, or there's something else significant in your life that, you know, doesn't warrant emergency leave. Well, we can't send you home. In the past, we could have timed up your leave to get home for an important life event for you or your family members. We just don't have that luxury anymore. So just real quick, I mean, the rules are fairly straightforward. It's you know, the guys will go home if there's a death or a serious illness of their immediate family member. And you can see what they qualify as immediate family members up there. Okay, so it's a pretty high standard. Certainly the Army, there's more rotations, that costs more money, so they've really lessened the opportunities to fly home, because now we're flying more planes back and forth to the unit rotation. And that's sort of summing up why we've done it. Okay? Again, it's sort of largely a good deal, except if you got something at home that you wanted to attend that you just can't get to. All right? Anything else? Scott?
What about emergency leave?
Okay. I think we'll hit most of that. Again, emergency leave, as I said, is a death or serious illness of a family member. We'll talk about some issues where we hope that you can, families can establish temporary care when you guys have short-term problems. You know, small example, if you know, you have what you think is an emergency, which could be, you know, you fall, break your ankle, all of a sudden you're in the hospital, right? Got to pick up kids from school. It's going to be difficult to get around. You know, the big team doesn't see that as an emergency. Now, to you, it is. So we're going to ask you to contemplate, just like, frankly, Kelly and I, you guys all, if you have kids in school, you got to sign sort of an emergency leave form. Someone will pick up your kids in the event you're disabled, right? Or you can't show. You guys have to do that? She's done it. She didn't put me down because I'm not reliable for her and the kids. So she's got a friend, and vice versa for her. They've made an agreement, and now they've got an arrangement. Well, I think it's prudent to have the same sort of arrangement if something happens to you while you're managing the plane. In best case, I can't get him home for three and a half days, right? To get him out of the action, onto a plane home, takes a minute, right? And so you're going to have to, at a minimum, have folks to help you out with whatever you need. Okay, and we can go in more detail. Your units will do that. But we just wanted to give you that sort of awareness from me to you. Okay. So again, largely a good deal, but a little bit more stringent on how we get home for leave. All right.
I'm Cheryl Blankenship. I'm the brigade HRSA. The Service Member Civil Relief Act does have a lot of benefits to it. Captain Gross will talk a little bit more about that when he gets up to talk about the legal portion, but it's definitely something to take advantage of. You can really save some money, you know, cut down those bills that you don't need, for instance, your cell phone, but it's a really good thing to take advantage of while you are deployed. If you're in a lease, it also gives you the opportunity to get out of your lease. The Savings Deposit Program, everybody's familiar with TSP, right? The Savings Deposit Program is only for when you're deployed. When you're in theater for 31 days, you can start contributing to an SDP. On the SDP, you will get 10% back on your money, up to $10,000. Okay? You can pull out money out of that fund if there's an emergency situation. Otherwise, it's a one-time withdrawal after you come back. You have to withdraw all the funds at once. But get with your finance department. They'll be able to give you a lot more detailed information on that. But that's a great way to save some money and set your family up for success. CYS. Okay, CYS. CYS registration is free. It doesn't cost any money to register your kids. You get a lot of benefits of having them registered. When you deploy 30 days prior to the deployment and 90 days after, you get 16 hours a month of free child care per child. It's not per household, it's per child. After you use the 16 hours, you get $2 per child per hour at a reduced rate. You get a reduction of fees, and you also get the SKYS enrollment, which is a lot of classes, ballet, water sports. There's a lot of stuff that they can take advantage of. And it's up to $300 per child. You also get up to $100 for sports, team sports, you know, football, basketball, anything like that. The other thing that's good about CYS, you need to register your kids prior to the deployment, because if something happens to you while your service member is deployed and your next of kin or whoever you have listed come take care of those kids and they can't get here for a day or so, CYS will step in and help you care for those children. If you do not have that in place and there's nobody here that can legally take care of your kids, you run the risk of them going into the social system. Okay, so if you don't want to use the child care, you don't want to use anything else, at least register them as a safety mechanism. Okay? Out front we had the Blue Book / deployment checklist. Hopefully everybody grabbed one. Sit down with your service member, sit down with your spouses, your mothers, whoever it is when you go home. Go through that book. Fill out the checklist. Let them know where everything is. Do you have a mechanic? What accounts do you have? What bills are you when? Set them up for success. Okay? If they don't have the information, they can't run the house while you're gone. If you are the primary person who runs that house and you are deploying downrange and you don't leave them the information, they can't be successful. If you have a mother or a parent that's going to be running it for you, make sure you do the same thing with them. Sit down, let them know what your wishes are, let them know what's going to be there. Do it together. It's important. If you need more information, the frag.army.mil site, we have a 4th Brigade site on there, which has wonderful information and resources. You can also use My Army One Source or Army One Source, Military One Source. There's a couple One Sources. They get confusing. Both of them have great information. And our Facebook page is updated daily, if not more than once a day, to list events and upcoming information. Sometimes the colonel will put up a message to families. So just go to those sites, utilize them, find out some information, stay connected. Okay? Get to know who your verses are, get to know who your FRG leaders are, make some friends, some bonds, and it'll be a good deployment if we all just hold hands.